I'm also working this crankbait where it's like 8 feet out there and then it comes up to 4 feet. So there's a ledge that comes up over here. So I'm running it from the deep and then I feel it when I hit the ledge and I'm working up the side of that ledge as it comes up. You know, fish will stay suspended on that ledge. That's another way to find fish with a crankbait as well. And then I'm going to keep using the crankbait until I find, there's one. Until I find some more fish, which I just did. Well, welcome back to the channel. Good morning. On this episode, we want to cover our top 3 baits that we like to use in the dead heat of the summer. We're going to show you how we fish them a little bit, and we're going to catch some fish. So let's get after it. So my top 3 baits I like to use in the dead heat of the summer, especially where when the water temperature is like 86.3 degrees where I'm at right now, is I like to slow roll. And these are all old school baits, nothing new, nothing that's a fad, just an old school medium-sized diving crankbait. This goes down about 5 feet. It's made by Berkley. I think it's the 2.0, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that one goes down about 5 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot the actual size of it. That goes down about 5 feet. I also like to use just an old school Texas rig. And the way I have this one rigged on right now is the 7-inch private from Tactical Fishing Co. 1/8 ounce weight. But what I do is I rip off the speed worm part of the tail, which is this. I like to use this as a follow-up bait, or when it starts to get, the sun's up and it starts to get like really hot and the fish get a little bit more not as active. I like to use the crankbait first thing in the morning while they're still trying to, you know, get their morning breakfast, etc. And I also like to use a Cinco. Now this one is a Yum Dinger, and the only reason I'm using this right now and not the ones from Tactical is I have like 10,000 of these I got on a really good deal. So I want to use those up before I go back to using just the Tactical Fishing Co. version of the Cinco. That is my top 3 baits. So I like to slow roll a crankbait. I like to follow up with a Texas rig or a Cinco. And as the sun comes up and it gets really warm out, about like that 9-10 o'clock time of the day, right before it really starts to get warm, I will change over to soft plastics. But I like using the crankbait and just cover water but still slow roll it. I don't like to move it too fast, and I still cast pretty close to the edge of the bank, or I'll work parallel to a bank. So I'll just throw it out, get as close as I can to the bank without getting those treble hooks caught up. Let it sit there for just a minute, and then I'll just slowly start to slow roll it. Then sometimes I'll stop, I'll pause it, let it, this one rises back to the surface, so I'll let it pop back up and then I'll dive back down. But when I'm running parallel to the bank, I pretty much cast it out and just slow roll it completely back a few times along the same bank. Then what I'll do is I'll stay on this same bank, keep running parallel with it to cover water, but then I'll change up my retrieve. Cast it out, and instead of just doing a slow, steady retrieve, I will stop it again. And then I'll speed it back up, let it dive down, then stop it. Speed it back, speed it back up, let it dive down, let it come back up. And I'll do that a few times. So once I cover the bank, at least 5 to 6 casts in a couple different ways, I may work along the bank too as well with soft plastics, just to make sure I got that bank covered and that part of the water covered. But what my goal is with the crankbait at first, especially early in the morning like this, is just running parallel with the bank for the most part and see if I can get those fish to come off the bank and come out and grab it and feed. Now, it's going to be kind of dependent on the region. I'm in the southeast region in South Carolina, so this may not work as effective where you are. Also, too, with my fish finder, if I see any underwater structure, I'm also going to throw my crankbait or even my soft plastics near that structure and work it as well. Also, when it's this hot, you may want to go deeper. Another thing to pay attention to as well is if you do have a fish finder and you start catching fish, look down at the depth you're in. Like right now, I've moved to about three more feet of depth of water I'm fishing. So I'm about 6 feet of water now. I was about 2.5 to 3 before. If I catch a fish over here, that means that they're deeper. Try to catch another fish in that same area. Okay, I caught 2 fish that are in deeper water. So it should give you a sense of where they're hanging. They may want to be in the deeper water first thing, and they may move up in the shallower water later. So just also pay attention to the depth of the water that you caught the fish in, because that'll also give you an indication of where they are staging up for the day or at that time on your body of water. Now you could have a forward facing sonar set up and you can go find them that way and drop shot and fish offshore and find them a little bit easier. Of course, that's going to always be easier, especially if you're good at it and if you use it have quite a few hours on it. You're going to learn that forward facing sonar very well, especially your particular unit, and you're going to be able to find them a lot easier. And one last tip I'm going to suggest when it's hot like this time of the year is, as that sun comes up and you see those shadow lines underneath trees, skip a bait underneath those trees and fish those shadow lines, because that shade from the trees is going to make the water almost 2 to 3 degrees cooler. Comment in the video what's your favorite top 3 baits that you like to go out with when it's hot like this. And when it comes to soft plastics, you can use whatever you like to use. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using. Texas rig worm is a Texas rig worm. They all have different characteristics and different actions, but when it comes down to Texas rig soft plastics, as long as you're moving it slow, you should catch fish. The thing I like about a crankbait too, over like a spinner bait, etc., because a lot of times, spinner baits are more productive when it's windy out, because you're going to hide that silhouette of the actual bait. Crankbait I like using in windy conditions and also calm conditions like it is now, and it works just as good both times. I'm not trying to hide the silhouette of the crankbait. Also working this crankbait where it's like 8 feet out there and then it comes up to 4 feet, so there's a ledge that comes up over here, so I'm running it from the deep and then I feel it when I hit the ledge, and I'm working up the side of that ledge as it comes up. Fish will stay suspended on that ledge. That's another way to find fish with a crankbait as well. So I'm just hitting some key areas that I know very well in this water with the crank. Then I'm going to fish soft plastics as a follow-up, and then I'm going to keep using the crankbait until I find, there's one, until I find some more fish, which I just did. So he's sitting right on that ledge, sitting on that ledge, and he's double hooked. He's double hooked. All right, guys, probably about 14 and a half or so, nothing huge, but it's on the crankbait. One of my favorite 3 baits when it's hot. All right, so that just showed me that they are suspended in the deeper water as it's coming up that bank, and I probably caught that one based on where I was sitting, and probably about 6 feet of water. Now, is there another one sitting there? Is there a little bit of a school? We can see. We can run the crankbait right over, or we can work the Texas rig up that bank as well and see if we can get another one on that slope. But I think we're going to move over just a tad. We're going to run this crankbait, and you can see right there on this fish finder. See how there's that bank? Hopefully you can see on the left side of that fish finder. See, there's that bank right there. And I am seeing a few marks off that bank, so I'm hoping that's some fish, other fish sitting there on that bank as well. You don't have a fish finder, and all you're doing is beating the banks, and you're looking for structure. Like in front of us, we have a downed tree. Definitely cover around that tree with your soft plastics, both Texas and wacky rig stick bait, because fish will hang around down trees. You may only have 1 or 2 suspended on this tree, but you definitely want to fish it very thoroughly, because just banging around these down branches and stuff is a good chance there's going to be a fish there. All right, what we got here? Yeah, a little strong bass, Does not want to come up. It's pretty decent size, fatty. It's a nice one there, guys, on the Texas. In the shadows. It's a real healthy one. Nice looking bass, guys. Big mouth in the shadows. I probably put it about 17, 18 inches. Yeah, let's get this one back in the water. There's a nice little fight there. Nice little chunker. So slowing it up, finding that little bit of a cooler water in the shade. And this little pocket I'm in right now is about 0.3 degrees cooler. So this pocket itself is cooler overall over the rest of the lake. So that's why I chose to come in here, and it paid off. Another decent one on the Texas rig. Barely hooked. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get this one in or not. We'll see. Yeah, we got it. We got you. We got you. All right, guys. It's a pretty decent one. Another decent one. And lurking in the shadows. God, I love these things. See you later, buddy. All right, guys, well, that's it for us for today. We spent about 3.5 to 4 hours on the water. We got 3 fish. We didn't go home skunked. That is why I choose these 3 baits. We caught 1 on the crankbait earlier today, and then we caught 2 on the Texas rig. I tried the stick bait wacky rig, but just wasn't bringing any attention to anything, so I figured the bigger profile bait definitely worked, and we just fished that shadow line from the trees, fished that shade line, find the cooler water. We got that one in the back pocket. It was about 0.3, 0.4 degrees cooler, and then we also casted way up underneath the tree there, so they were holding tight to the cover up in that shady area in that cooler water, just taking a break out of the heat. And you know, another way too to defeat the heat is still go out with these 3 baits, or the 3 favorite baits that you like. Go out early evening to late evening and fish that night bite. You know, a lot of people in this time of the year also fish at night because of the heat. So you're out of the heat, fish are out of the heat, and they're probably going to be a little bit more active at night. But it all depends what your schedule is, if you can get out at night, etc. You know, so we had fun. We still caught 3 fish. 2 of them were pretty nice, and that's my 3 favorite baits for this time of the year when it's dead hot. July, August, we run out with the crankbait, the stick bait wacky rig, and the Texas rig with a worm on it. Old school, old fashioned, but guess what? It works, and I went home with some fish. So appreciate all you guys stopping by. Any of you looking for that iCast videos that I was going to do for you, I decided not to go down there, so I'm sorry I disappointed you, but there's plenty others out there that are going to be covering all the iCast items that are new. And there's always a lot of coverage on social media from iCast, from a lot of others, and you also get those sneak peeks. So even though I'm not covering iCast, everybody else will, so you're not going to miss anything. I wanted to go down, but if you guys have been following along, you see it's rjmadventures now, and I hope you guys caught some of those other videos saying that I'm done with RJM Fishtails, but we got rjm Adventures now, which is still covering fishing. And we also got that property that we're purchasing and gonna develop. So it's gonna be fun. I figure it was a great way to share all my experiences with you instead of just fishing. You know, I cover trucks, I cover accessories on kayaks, I cover truck accessories, trailers, etc. So why not add the construction aspect to it? Even if you guys don't like watching construction or need to learn anything, I still think it's gonna be fun for you guys to watch all those events as we do them, and get to share that with you and share some of my knowledge. Like I said in that other video, I've been out of residential construction for quite some time now, but I haven't forgotten how to do it. And there's a lot other newer products out there, but still, just like how I fish old fashioned, old school, you can still use those old school products to build a house as well. So hope you guys follow along, follow that new adventure over there. We got a lot of that stuff coming up, but as always, there's always gonna be fishing. That's never gonna stop, guys. So as always, be safe in the water, and I'll catch you in the water or see you from Rice Acres. See you soon.